Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brendan Plays. This is Total Extreme Wrestling for our All Elite Wrestling Save, week 1 of October. We are moving on from the Grand Slam major event, which of course was rated 86. Daniel Bryan and CM Punk teamed up to take on the Young Bucks in the main event. 84 rated was that one. 86 was pretty generous. I didn't think we really truly deserved that. But nonetheless, we had a really good show, and I'm pretty proud of what we've been able to accomplish over the last couple of months or so, with All Out really good, and now, of course, Grand Slam. We're on a bit of a roll. We're doing really, really well. So now, of course, all the attention turns towards our next event, which will be Full Gear. About 6 weeks away, so we have a lot of time to build and prep for it. So in the meantime, we obviously need to start a lot of new things and get our card prepared. So here's what we're kind of looking at and what we've kind of got planned for Full Gear. So we've got Britt Baker and Jade Cargill. That match will be taking place potentially before Full Gear, I'm not sure. It's 6 weeks to draw out this match. Will be pretty difficult, so we'll try, but if we can save it for then, that'd be good. Cody and MJF will probably do the rematch there. Layla Hirsch, Hikaru Shida, this is probably a feud that we'll do over the next few weeks on Dark. Paul White, Lance Archer, we're going to get Paul White in the mix, take on Lance Archer. Might even have Paul White lose to Lance to have Lance get a huge win and try and put him over. Now that Bryan Danielson's in, we're going to have him team up with CM Punk to continue to fight the Elite. Obviously, Adam Cole's now debuted as well. Malachi Black and Darby Allin, they might join this one, and we might do some sort of big 4-on-4 match, potentially. We've also got Ricky Starks and Colt Cabana. This will be more of a match that will take place on Dynamite or Dark, just to try and help Ricky Starks get him over. Serena Deeb, Ruby Soho will continue that one. The end of the Inner Circle storyline, that's about Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho, the dissension that's going on there. Most likely Jericho and Guevara one-on-one at Full Gear. The Hardys, we're going to get them back in the mix. We're going to have them take on the Lucha Bros. The TNT Championship, we're going to do a 4-way for it. Adam Page, Christian Cage, Miro, and Park. I figured 4 guys, all available at the moment, all have been in the mix in recent times. Makes sense to get them all in there and go for it. Varsity Blondes 2.0, this will be on Dark. And then we got the Women's Tag Team Championship, which I think we'll do a tournament for it. I was originally thinking of doing, a point system, like a G1 sort of tournament. But I figured, if we have all these teams fight each other multiple times, or they all face each other at least once, then we kind of lose a lot of the unique matches that we'll get out of this division. So an elimination tournament, I think, is a way to go. At the moment, we've got 5 teams. We'd have to have 8 teams to have a proper tournament, at least. So it looks like there will only be 4 teams in the tournament, which isn't ideal. I would have liked to have, I would have liked to have gotten the 8. We could have some, teams just kind of thrown together to make up the numbers. We could throw, Chris Statlander or Thunder Rosa in a team for a night, or, Abaddon, chuck her in a team. We could probably make it work. Julia Hart, put her in a team for a night and get to the 8 and have the proper established teams beating those, one-off tag teams. That may be the way to go, just to get the numbers out there, but obviously a 4-person tournament is kind of lousy. 8 teams would be a little bit stronger, I suppose, and gets a chance to highlight the entire division. So that's kind of where we currently stand with it all there. But it's the storylines heading into Full Gear. Obviously, we'll add a few more along the way. I'm trying to utilize a lot of different areas of the roster, because I'm realizing that we obviously needed to develop a lot of the lower end guys. We've got so many guys on the roster now, and so many aren't really getting over. But our top guys, there's so many of them as well, so it's so hard to keep them all in the mix, and we're trying our best to get them all in doing something. Some people like FTR, for example, aren't in the mix at the moment, but we might get them involved in the Cody Rhodes situation. But I think we're covering a good portion of the roster. People like Brian Cage, he's missing out at the moment, but, he was just in a storyline. And in the middle of the card, we've got Jurassic Express. They're not in anything at the moment, so we could try and find something for them. Best Friends aren't in too much at the moment either. So, Moxley and Eddie Kingston, we need to find new opponents for them. So there's a bit to try and work on. With the tag team division, I'm thinking maybe we could do some sort of tournament again, or some sort of, qualifying situation, because we've got so many top tag teams now. The Young Bucks are the champions, of course. They haven't had to defend the belts for a little bit since All Out, so they got away with it on Grand Slam. So maybe we can try and establish a genuine #1 contender and have a match with the Young Bucks versus that team whilst they're feuding with Punk and Danielson. It might be a way to kind of add a bit of a spanner into the storyline by having Punk and Danielson cost the Young Bucks the championships. Maybe we could give them to Malachi Black and Darby Allin to try and further advance that storyline, and by adding them into the storyline and continue to advance it that way. So that's a possibility as well. But we have added the Women's Tag Team Championships. They are officially in. So I'm excited to see how this goes. I think it'll be a bit of a risk, and I don't know how well it will go, but it's a chance to try and get a few more women over on the roster and give them more things to do. And it gives a bit more purpose to some of the lower end shows. For example, Dark. We can have some more matches revolving around the women's championship, and maybe even have the championship defended on Dark as well if we have to. So it kind of, obviously we've got Rampage as well. So we've got a lot of hours to fill, a lot of content to fill, and having another belt to add something more to the women's division, because usually at the moment we kind of have two storylines going on with the women at most times, and it really just revolves around 4 to 6 women in total. So we're not really covering a big portion of the roster. This way, we can add another storyline or two revolving around the Women's Tag Team Championship to get more of them involved. So I think it's a good thing. It's a win-win. But anyways, that's kind of where we're headed at the moment in the near future. Obviously, the plan is still to keep pushing our main event guys and keep incorporating CM Punk, Bryan Danielson in there. Adam Page, he's now got the TEW2020 Championship as well, so that's an exciting thing going down. Cody Rhodes is the world champion. I'd like to see Cody and MJF tear it up their next chance they get, because at the moment Cody, a little lackluster at the moment. I'd like to see him try and really step it up and give us a little bit more, because there's so many top guys at the moment. We plan to have Cody Rhodes win the world title, 6 months ago, around about this point. So now that we've got Danielson, now that we've got Punk, it's Kenny Omega's on fire. It's almost like, is Cody the right choice right now? Maybe not. He's been overshadowed by a lot of others, so he needs to really work hard to get himself over. So it won't be easy, but that's the plan. We'll try and get Cody really firing here to make sure that he, remains world champion and deserves to be that. But anyways, the card for the next Dynamite is booked. We may as well jump straight into it, and we'll kick it off with the pre-show. We've got the Wingmen and the Seidels in tag team action. 41 rated match. Matt Seidel best in the match, 46. No surprise. The Wingmen, though, 31-30. That's not too bad. The Seidels, of course, won. Brandon Cutler took on Powerhouse Will Hobbs. 52 rated match. Cutler, 42. Will Hobbs, 53. Really good stuff from Will Hobbs. He's really on the cusp of breaking through, I feel. I really believe that we can get him to a really good point. He just probably needs one big win, and I'm trying to figure out who's the right person for him to beat. Maybe it's got to be a Brian Cage. Maybe it's a Lance. I don't know, but might be a Jake Hager, someone we don't really care too much about, and we can afford him to take a loss. Alright, to kick off the main show, we've got the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Adam Cole, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, the entire Super Elite are out there. The Elite welcome Adam Cole to the group, and they gloat about taking out Punk and Danielson. So they beat down Danielson and Punk. They won't be here tonight. They're out, and the Elite can celebrate. They can party tonight, and they can feel on top of the world once again. So Adam Cole's first appearance in AEW on Dynamite, it's an 84 rated. Miro took on Shawn Spears for a 70 rated match. Miro 77, Shawn Spears 41. Good stuff from both guys, quite honestly. Miro really, really good though. 77 is top quality. Wanted to give Miro a win. He's going to be involved in that Fatal 4-Way, so we're trying to give Miro, Christian Cage some wins to build them up so they deserve to be in that mix. Post-match, Miro says that he has his eyes set on Adam Page and the TNT Championship. 86 rated promo. Wow. It is really, really good from Miro. Yeah, look, Miro's doing really well. Ever since he, got a couple of lucky tag team wins and a few things here and there, he's just popularity is surging, and he hasn't had a lot of wins. He hasn't had a lot of great moments, but he's right up there with one of the best popularities in the company. So He's doing really, really well, and an 86 rated promo is excellent. The Hardys took on the Acclaim for 56, Jeff 76, Matt 68, 34 and 35 from the Acclaimed. Of course, the Hardys pick up a win. Nothing special here, though, from this one. Obviously, the Acclaim don't have a lot of popularity, but I figured the Hardys would carry them to a little bit more than 56. I was hoping maybe 60 plus, but not to be. Post-match in the locker room, the Lucha Bros bump into the Hardys after their match, and they have a bit of an intense stand-down. So, Lucha Bros and the Hardys, just a small little confrontation backstage, kind of setting up and teasing what is to come. We also signed Alex Abrahantes as well to be Penta's manager. So he's given the translator gimmick. It's been given a rating of adequate. So I forgot that I didn't have him on the contract, and I had to kind of import him into our game. So we've signed him, and he can be the manager for Penta, and so far so good there. MJF cuts a promo on Cody Rhodes. He says that he's very lucky that he avoided an attack at Grand Slam, but he won't be lucky next time. So on Grand Slam, MJF basically promised Cody that, promised the winner of Cody versus Sammy that whoever wins that world title is getting a beat down from the Pinnacle. But in the end, Cody got away because it was Chris Jericho who was out there. Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle were out there, and they were dealing with Sammy Guevara. So MJF said, look, you know what? I don't want any of that tonight. Let's do it another night, because we don't want to try and get involved and have to fight the Inner Circle as well, just to get to Cody or Sammy Guevara. So they left it alone that time. 99 rated for that one, so teasing a potential showdown between MJF and Cody in the near future. Colt Cabana and Christian Cage had a 68 rated match. Christian 71, Colt 48. Not bad. Christian probably could have been a little bit better. He seemed off his game, apparently. 16-minute match, not too bad. We had Ricky Starks on commentary for this one as well, and that will lead to the next segment. Ricky Starks mocking Colt Cabana for his terrible win-loss record. So Ricky Starks pretty much just insulting Colt. And look, he does have a bad win-loss record. I think it's 5-20 or something like that. So it's not good. He's had a bit of a miserable time in the last few weeks, getting beaten down by the Elite and things like that. So Ricky Starks just kind of rubbing salt into the wounds. Paul White goes to the ring, and he basically calls out the locker room, says, look, I want to get back in the ring. I want to fight. I want to get in here. I want to show that I can still do it. In the end, Lance Archer comes out and challenges Paul White, so 79 rated. Well, be careful what you wish for, because Lance Archer accepts the challenge. He comes out, wants that fight, and Paul White and Lance Archer is set up for the near future. So I don't know if that'll make it to the pay-per-view. Maybe it could, but maybe a main event on Dynamite might be good there between those two. Ruby Soho took on Mel for 46. Ruby Soho 51, Mel 26. Ruby picked up the win in about 7 minutes. So a quick win for Ruby. I mean, I wanted her just to get some more wins under her belt. Mel, I think, is on her way out. I don't really have a lot of purpose left for her. And we don't actually have a lot of women that I really want to lose at the moment on the heel side of things. So there's not a lot of opponents for Ruby to kind of run through. That's why Mel was given the job. And in the end, Ruby did really well to carry her to 46. A 46 for a woman is pretty good for our company. So if we can keep that up, I'd be pretty happy. Serena Deeb attacked Ruby Soho from behind and demanded a rematch. So, obviously, Ruby Soho got the quick pinfall win over Serena at the pay-per-view. Serena feels as though, look, I was embarrassed. That shouldn't have happened to me. That was meant to be my big night. So, we set up a rematch here by having Serena attack Ruby. Chris Jericho goes to the ring with the Inner Circle and says that Sammy Guevara has turned his back on the Inner Circle and he will pay the price for doing so. 99 rated segment here, of course. Jericho performing excellent, and we're setting up for the big Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho showdown. So obviously Jericho took out Sammy Guevara pretty badly, so we probably will run a bit of an injury angle with Sammy Guevara for the next 3 or 4 weeks. That way we can keep him off TV for some big surprise return to eventually get his hands on Jericho. Our main event, well, it didn't quite go down as well as we would have liked. Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy took a risk. I thought Adam Cole might be able to carry Orange Cassidy to more than what this match was. And we didn't, as I said, have a lot of opponents for Adam Cole either. Nobody that we really wanted to have lose here. So we went with the Orange Cassidy. Maybe not the best opponent for Adam Cole in his debut match. 63 rated in the end. But I wanted to showcase Adam Cole. I wanted to have his big debut take place and make him look good. 72 in ring from Adam Cole's okay. 55 from Cassie's pretty good for his popularity. So maybe I was expecting a little bit too much. I thought we'd get around the 70s. I wasn't trying to go for a big episode of Dynamite. I wasn't trying to hit a home run or anything like that. But we still ended up with a 79 rated show. That just says all the momentum that we've got at the moment. But to be fair, you know, we had a 70 with Miro and Sean Spears, 68 with Colt and Christian. So there was some decent matches in the card, mixed in with a lot of really good promos. So yeah, despite the bad main event, we still managed to have a really good show. Alright, post-Dynamite, let's take a look at the results. NXT had a 75 rated show, 6,500 people attended, 651,000 viewers. So they're still doing fairly well, despite the fact that we just stole their biggest star in Adam Cole, who, by the way, didn't do that well for us. But 8,500 people attended our show, over 1 million viewers in total, which is great, 936,000 on TNT. So there is some definite growth from our company and things are looking much better. Signings, Bobby Fish will join up with us. I think we'll bring him as a heel. I think that makes the most sense. 45 popularity. As I said, I don't really know what we're going to get out of Bobby Fish, but you know, you never know. He might be good, he might not be. His performances, yeah, around the 60s. I mean, in NXT, if he can perform like that for us, that'd be great. Will he do that? I doubt it, so we won't be too confident there. Other signing news, we're going to get Leo Rush. Obviously, he's coming in. He's joining AEW. I think he's going to be more like a manager. I don't really know if he's going to wrestle too much, but I'm sure he will. But as a manager, he could be useful. His mic skills are okay. I think they're probably a little bit undervalued. 63 and 64. I think he's probably a little bit better than that, but you know, we'll see. Ashley Vox, we're going to bring her in just for one appearance. She's on a one appearance. The plan was she's in a tag team. I forget the name of it now off the top of my head, but she's in a tag team, and we're going to bring her in with her tag team partner to be a part of the women's tag team tournament for the one appearance. So that might work out well for us here. And we're bringing in Lee as well. He's 27, got some decent skills. He's just joined AEW officially, so we'll see how he goes. Probably come in as a babyface, I guess. Another low-end guy to join the roster. AEW keeps signing so many in real life. We have to keep bringing them in for our game. And it just means we have so many people in the roster and so many people who are not over. So, look, you always need people to lose, though. And that's the beauty of that. You can always have more people take the L's. All right, let's jump into Rampage. We got the Dark Order and the Factory in a tag team match on the pre-show 6-man tag. John Silver, the best in the match, 40 rated, and the Dark Order picked up the win. The Butcher and Frank Kazarian had a match, 38 rated. The Butcher cracking his ribs, 32 from the Butcher, 45 from Frankie. Trying to position Frankie Kazarian as a strong mid-card option going forward. Trying to get him a few wins over some lower guys, just to keep his win-loss record a little bit better and try and improve his momentum. So crack ribs for the Butcher on the main show. Cody Rhodes welcomes the fight of the Pinnacle, because obviously MJF said, look, hey, that's coming to you. You're going to get that beat down soon. It may not have happened at Grand Slam, but it's coming your way. Cody Rhodes basically says, look, if you want to come get me, here I am. I'm in the middle of the ring. I'm all alone. The Pinnacle comes out to do so, but Cody gets some help from the Nightmare family, showing that he has some backup coming his way. So he is not alone in this fight. He will not be outnumbered. 99 rated for that one. Park took on Kip Sabian for a 74 rated match. Kip 42, Park 80. Very solid match between these two. Kip Sabian obviously is in the process of turning babyface, which is not going to go down too well. And also Kip and Penelope, one's a heel, one's a face. So it's a bit of a mess at the moment for those guys. But nonetheless, Park got a really solid win as we're trying to boost his momentum and show that he's ready to get a rematch against Adam Page. And speaking of rematches, Park says that he wants his rematch and he's going to start hurting people until he gets it. So he's putting Sting, our GM, on notice, and Tony Khan, look, give me what I want, or some bad things are going to start happening. Next up, Double Trouble and TJ teamed up to take on the Inspiration and Superbad. So a bit of a precursor to the Women's Tag Team Tournament coming up, which will start next week. We've got a few teams in mind to throw in as some extra teams just to make the tournament happen. So we'll have 8 teams. We've managed to fill out the tournament, as I said. We've borrowed a few talents from some of our allies, so we've been able to make up and fill the numbers. Best of the match was Jesse and Cassie Lee, 44 for them. So not too bad in the end from all these women. A 44 rated match on Rampage is pretty good and might help out their popularity a little bit too. Next up, Kenny Omega interrupts Tony Schiavone's health update on CM Punk and Bryan Danielson. Obviously, he's got the Elite there with him as well. Kenny Omega warns Punk and Danielson to never return or else. So if you thought the beatdown was bad of CM Punk and Bryan Danielson the first time, wait until you see what happens when if you show up again, basically. So Kenny Omega signaling and messaging Punk and Danielson, giving them a big warning, don't come back or it's going to be worse next time. So the Elite just don't want to see Punk and Danielson back. Good reason, they did beat them at Grand Slam, so they are hoping that they never see them again. So we're selling the injuries of Punk and Danielson. I think we'll try and do that for another couple of weeks. We'll have the Elite feeling pretty comfortable and feeling pretty confident that, hey, these guys are gone. We don't have to worry. Maybe they start to kind of get in a bit of a scuffle with Malachi Black and Darby Allin, and they get some help with CM Punk and Bryan Danielson coming back at some point down the line, closer to the pay-per-view, to kind of build some anticipation. The only downside for this is obviously in real life, if this happened, Bryan Danielson has just debuted at Grand Slam, and we won't get to see him again for a few weeks. So do you kind of lose some of that buzz that you have, or do you keep that with the intrigue of, okay, when's he going to show up again? When's this match going to happen? We try and keep his next appearance a little bit more special. So it could kind of work either way. People go, well, I tuned in to see Bryan Danielson, he's not there, what the heck? Or they're kind of waiting for anticipation. Is he coming back this week, or what's going to happen next? Try and build a bit of anticipation, intrigue around this storyline. Our main event was the Super Elite, so Adam Cole in this one as well, teaming up with the Young Bucks to take on the Best Friends. 70 rated match, the Young Bucks 85 and 84. Adam Cole was good, 78. Orange Cassidy 60. Chuck 49, Trent 49. Good match. Obviously wanted to give the Super Elite a win, put them over here, make them look good together, and the Best Friends are always that casualty team, that team that always seems to be involved when we need someone to lose. And that's a bit of a shame for them, but we just don't have that spot for them available. They're just not going to be one of our top teams, probably ever. But the Young Bucks and Adam Cole, they certainly are, and they got a big win here to boost them up again. Gives us a 73 rated edition of Rampage. Nothing over the top, but a couple of good matches here without really having to give away a lot, which is always a real plus. Alright, moving on to the result of Rampage. So for the show, did okay, not too bad. We had over 1 million viewers, of course, on TNT. We did manage 748,000 viewers. Not bad. So 6.7 thousand people in attendance. We had AEW Dark as well, and we managed to get a 57 rated show. We won't know the exact rating for that just for a little bit, so not too bad. Butcher's injured. I don't think the injury is going to be too bad. Crack ribs, not that it really matters. He doesn't get utilized all that much, and he'll be back in 6 days. So no real concern there. So I want to take a quick look at some of the popularity changes. Obviously, mainly looking at some of the lower end guys. We'll have a quick little look at someone like, a Park, who had a big win and a nice promo, 67. The Young Bucks, you got Nick Jackson, still in the 70s, not too bad. Adam Cole still considered just to be a star, not a major star yet. He's hovering around 72 popularity, so that's positive. Further down the list, Orange Cassidy in a good main event match, 49 pop for him. That's not bad. He's in a position where you could utilize him a little bit more. And obviously, much further down the card, Bobby Fish, we're going to get him debuting probably on Dynamite next. I think he's going to feud with Will Hobbs. I think that's a good starting point for both guys. And maybe that could be the guy that Will Hobbs beats to get that big win that he's been looking for. So it's a bit of a sacrifice to Bobby Fish, but I don't really have a lot of major plans for him. But if his in-ring work is obviously great and there's a lot there that we can really get out of him, then that might change my thinking around him. Frank Kazarian, as we said, getting some wins, 42 in the Southwest, 38, 39 elsewhere. That's okay. Probably want to look a little bit further down, take a look at some of the tag team women. Big Swole heading into the tournament, 28 in the Southeast, 25 elsewhere. A little low. It's a little concerning. Layla Hirsch, she's in the feud with Sheeta. Obviously, she needs a real bump up in her popularity. We did sign Leo Rush to a contract, so he'll be coming in, 30 pop. I thought he was just going to be a manager, but it looks like he's going to wrestle in real life too, so I don't know how that's going to go. At the moment, I'm thinking manager, but I don't really know who's his client's going to be. You know, is there a big team, or is there a big wrestler who's a heel that he could, latch onto? I'm not 100% sure just yet. He could potentially manage like a Jade Cargill, because we don't have Mark Sterling in our roster. So he could potentially do that if we wanted just to explore his options. It will still obviously make him look pretty small. Jade Cargill will look like a beast in comparison. Obviously be much bigger than Leo. So it's not a bad pairing. And obviously he's got some decent mic skills that might help Jade out. If not, obviously we could look at some of the top male wrestlers and maybe see if there's a spot available for him there. Don't really think there is, but we'll have to investigate. Penelope Thorpe forward, 31 pop in the Southeast, 28 elsewhere, doing okay. But obviously, we had Cody Rhodes involving Lee Johnson and others. He's got 16 pop. Colton Gunn, still 16. So 16 is our absolute minimum. That's basically, if you get on TV, you're going to get 16 at some point. Austin Gunn, 19 pop. So not much happening there. Despite their involvement in that top segment, it didn't quite help out their popularity just yet. That's the key word, just yet. So in this episode, we've been able to establish some of our new storylines and obviously kick off some of the older ones into the next level. Cody and MJF now 86 heat. Paul White Lantarch is underway. Layla and Sheet is underway. Punk and the Elite still going well. And of course, a few more as well. So looking forward to what is to come in the near future. We're still building towards Full Gear. It's going to be about 5 or 6 weeks away. So still a lot more to try and get through as we build to the card. So not trying to rush anything just yet. Just trying to drag things out just that little bit to try and get us through a few more weeks before we really start to amp it up and try and get everything the best storyline heat possible heading into the pay-per-view. So ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have time for this edition of Total Extreme Wrestling. Some more signings to come as well. We got Lee coming in as well, Leo Rush, and we've got a few of some women from some different promotions appearing on our company for one night only with the women's tag tournament. So a little bit happening here and there, some different people and some different, obviously Bobby Fish as well. So some different people we can take a look at. So that's always exciting. So more to come in the next episodes of TEW. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed it, leave a like on it and subscribe to see more.